nervous system. Okay. Nervous system. Kalas. Now we are now in the, okay, endocrine system. Okay? Endocrine. You get the point? Endocrine system. Okay. Di ba maklaro guys? Okay? I need to write this again. Endocrine system. Oh my gosh. Wait for a while guys ha. Okay, it's here. Okay. Wait. Sorry po. Sorry talaga mamalang na ang hitad. Nakakalog. Nervous system. Uy. Okay. Nervous system. And then after that, we have the endocrine system. Check the nervous, ha? Endocrine system. Mga palangga akong hitad. Okay. Okay. First, we need to start with the definition of endocrine system. What is an endocrine system based on your own understanding? Anybody? Anybody in a virtual platform of interactive communication? Nothing, right? As if I'm drawing the monologue here. Okay, I'll be the one to answer. Endocrine system is the one who regulates the body processes. Okay, regulates body processes. Imagine regulates body processes, meaning all. Okay. What else? Maintain the body's state of balance. Wow. Maintain the body state of balance. Okay. Meaning to say, all substances must be in right proportion and adequate level. One must not over, one must not also very low. It should be in the appropriate level so that we can have the necessary nutrients, vitamins, or whatever is that, okay, needed for our vital organs to function well. Okay? You get the point. So maintain the body state of balance. Okay. Ganon. Okay, what else? Endocrine system, okay, secretes hormone. Okay, hormone and release to the bloodstream. Okay, that's why blood sample is very important. Okay, like that. Number 4. So this is the positive features of our endocrine system. And what is really the bad feature of endocrine system? Bad. So this will be suppressed by meaning it cannot release the desired and exact or adequate amount of hormones coming from the endocrine glands. Okay, if that's the meaning of suppress. Okay, this if we have diseases, okay, stress in mind, body, and soul, all stresses, ibiyaan mo sa uyab or whatever, mental stress, then your hormones cannot function very well at that moment. Okay, we have also the poor diet. Most of the people all over the world will be in the poor diet rather than in the stresses and diseases, because these diseases will not come always on time or always in our life, right? So it's always the poor diet. Because we eat daily alatul, drinks, okay, fluids, water, and then we have also the food, the animals, the meat, like that, and the plants, okay, kabush, whatever, okay, kabush, like that. Yellow rice, white rice, violet rice, okay, like name it, okay. So it's in the poor diet. So if our diet is very poor, then the hormones will be affected. We have hormonal diseases driven. Okay? You get the point. One example to that is the prostate cancer for men. Hormonal disease due to the less production of testosterone or more production of testosterone. It's two. Okay, more production of testosterone, meaning to say more problem and less also problem. It's become less if you have multiple sexual partners. That can cause also cancer in your prostate. 6 here, 6 there, whatever persons you need to sex. Problem. Okay? And over also testosterone. Problem also another. Too much. Okay? The more you have higher testosterone, because the more you have also higher fats and cholesterol in your system. I don't have to show the chemical reaction, but that is not our topic. I can show you how the cholesterol and fats will be converted into testosterone as a male sexual hormones. That means if you have a very high raw materials, then technically you have also a very high product or yield, and your yield there is testosterone. Right? Get the point? Ganon. Okay, these are the endocrine system. Okay. Now, we are talking of the positive features. Aside from that, what are the center of that features where it will act, where it will be happening, something like that. So we need to mention number here. Okay, we have it will be secreted. Guys, secreted is meaning only generated and produced. This is a medical term only. Secretion, meaning production, releasing, generation, like that, or yield. The word somewhat like not popular to those who are not medical science students. Okay, but that's the same thing. Secretion, producing, like that. Okay, or let's say inducing, meaning producing, like that. Okay, it's the same thing. Or yielding. Okay, you get the point. So that is gland, meaning it's in there that you will really secrete the hormones. And that is definitely endocrine gland, right? Okay, then hormone, then receptors. Receptors are basically cells. Okay, like this. It's only three: the gland, the hormone, and the cell receptors. These cell receptors comes from different vital organs. Okay, we have a lot, right? As I mentioned a while ago in my previous vlog, we have the respiratory system, the circulatory, cardiovascular, reproductive, we always talk on that, right? Excretory, like that, nervous, all types of system, digestive, okay, have cell membrane or cell receptors in which the hormones will go in there. Okay, that's we call in medical science as a lumen. Lumen meaning a duct, an opening, okay, and a layer, outer layer. Because once you have the cell membrane, it will become the outer layer of your vital organ. Okay, like that. Or the pores. If you're talking about the skin, the sweet gland, but that is another topic. Okay, sweet gland is not a part of endocrine gland. That's a part of exocrine gland. That's another term. I will discuss that also. Another topic. There's also so many exocrine gland. How we can produce the tears, how we can produce the kugmo, how we can produce the the sweat, how we can produce the saliva, how we can produce the mucus. Okay, mucus. Okay, like that. So it's in there discussed how we can produce the digestive, the acids, like that, the juices inside our body. So that's another system, that is exocrine system. Okay, it's more on the external part. Meaning external, it will be coming out, something like that. But here it's more on the internal. That's why endocrine. The word endo, remember? Okay, that's meant internal, right? Okay, you get the point. So it's gonna be like that. So, more na the gland, the hormone, and the receptor sets. If we have this, then it will give energy. These hormones. Okay. Ganon. Okay. I will erase. Okay. Now, if this is Junjun standing in front of you, by means of an illustration, rough illustration, this is me. I have my mouth here, something like that. Esophagus, like that, and then my digestive system. Okay, here is my small intestine. Large intestine, guys, is the colon. Huh? If we have the colon cancer, meaning that's the cancer of the large intestine. Okay, not the small intestine. Because the cancer of the small intestine is not that one. Okay, it's another thing, that is gastronoma. Okay, due to the inadequate level of gastrulin hormone that will regulate and controls all your gastric acids, digestive acids, intestinal acids, and peptic acids, like that, in your total digestive system. Okay, but our topic is not digestive also. Okay, you get the point. So something like that, and then you have here like that, okay, like this. A lot, right? Okay. Now, how can we illustrate? Sir, esophagus na siya, sir. Yes, they're here. Esophagus. Ganon. Okay. Going to your intestine. The pancreas is near with the kidney, ha? Ganon. Okay, like that. Okay, we start from the brain. The most complex part of human being and sensitive, the brain. So we need to identify the endocrine glands. Okay, what are the glands? Here we have first here the pineal gland. Just like a bean. Here, very near in your brain stem, something like that, in your hypothalamus. Okay, pineal gland. Okay, pineal gland. And after the pineal gland, we have the hypothalamus, just like a tail in your brain cell here. Okay, this is the connection of your, thalamus. If you have the thalamus, you have the hypothalamus. Hypo meaning lower, right? In English. Hyper meaning high or many. That's why the term also speaks for the terminology. Hypothalamus. Hyperacidity meaning too much acid. Hypoacidity meaning low acid. Hypertension meaning high blood pressure. Hypotension meaning also low blood pressure. Okay? Like that. Things like that. Hyperglycemia, too much carbohydrates and glucoses inside your body. Like that. And then hypoglycemia, very less carbohydrates and glucoses in your body. So very important, the hypo and the hyper. An adjective. Okay? That describes the leveling. Okay? That's the point. Ganon. So we have the hypothalamus. Okay. Why we will not mention the thalamus? Because the thalamus is not managing the hormone. The function, though the thalamus is the bigger part there, the thalamus released to store the body's data information. Okay, and later it will be integrated there in the cerebrum, and then it will be interpreted in the cerebral vortex and translated into actions by our motor skills, neurons, something in the peripheral, peripheral nervous system. You get the point? Ganon. So we have here the pituitary gland or pituitary gland. The pituitary gland here have the posterior pituitary specifically. But since we're referring to the gland, this is the general pituitary gland. Okay, like that. Okay, so number 4, thyroid here in our neck. Just like here, very small thyroid gland. Okay, and then number 5, the para. Again, nasa sa para. Para meaning at the bottom, but exactly the opposite. Okay? There's an orientation when we say para. Okay? Parathyroid. Okay? But if it is in the bottom, but not exactly opposite, that is not para. That is only hypo or lower part. Okay? Something like that. Okay? So, parathyroid. Okay? And 6 will be the thymus here, the lowest part, thymus. Okay? Like that. Number 7, we have the adrenaline cortex. Okay. Adrenaline cortex is very, very important because this really managing stress hormones. This can kill a person. This is the reason why if you have a very, very poor adrenaline cortex, regulations, okay, stress hormones will be here. And stress hormones can cause mental stress. Okay, and it can create suicidal to human being. Okay? It's in the adrenaline vortex that it will produce the stress hormones. What are those stress hormones? We have epinephrine. Okay, we have norepinephrine. Like that. We have the cortisol. Okay, like that. And the adrenaline hormones. The cortisol hormones, these hormones that leads you to keep on eating sweet substances as a person. If you cannot control the eating of chocolates, the eating of soft drinks, the eating of halo-halo, the eating of cake or any sweet substance, meaning to say you have so many cortisol hormone in your system, in your adrenaline gland. And you should control because it can produce stress. Okay? Like that. That's why it's called stress hormones. After getting the stress hormones, it will interact to the next step will be, in your pancreas for the insulin level. And then diabetes will come in. Because later, after this adrenaline, we have the pancreas. We have the kidney. Doon na kayo siya guys, pancreas and the adrenaline cortex. Imagine, they are very, very, very near. That's why your adrenaline hormone must take care together with the collaboration of your insulin hormone. The pancreas supposedly will secrete or produce the appropriate level of your insulin for the proper regulation to maintain the glucose level of your blood. Something like that. Then it will be affected if you have so many sweets in your system and the adrenaline hormone will become tired. Too much. Okay? Because of too much, he cannot function properly. Just like us, if you have so many overtime, we cannot have a quality of work. Sometimes we got accident, we will be injured. Things like that also for adrenaline hormone because very high already. He cannot do things all. So you need to regulate that one. That's why it will signal your brain into your neurons here. Okay, into your speech part or language part here in the frontal lobe or cerebral cortex. No, don't take too much. Please control. They will communicate the brain, okay, in this situation. After controlling, you will limit your sweets now. You decide. Because you communicate in your brain cells. Okay? Like that. The eating part is the last step. The first step is the communication of your neurons. And then the hormones. Okay? Before you act, okay, the hormones and the brain cells are really communicating first with corresponding neurotransmitters and electrical signal. Yung electrical signal, the electrical signal is the one who will pass the information to the vital organs. For example, the mouth. Okay? So your mouth will move now because there's an electrical signal that the neurotransmitters will push. Okay? Why it push? Because there's a hormone that will try to activate. So meaning to say, If your hormones is failure, then everything will be failure. You get the point? Ganun. This is very important. Okay? So it's not really the protein, the carbohydrates, the vitamins that will give you energy. It's the hormone. Because this is the last step for the coordination and effective communication in your action, right? In your thinking, in your memory, in your knowledge. It's not the protein. Okay, the protein will just be converted into hormone later on in the bloodstream. Okay? You get the point. Kani mga dagko, macromolecules na na siya guys. Mga lipid, fats, proteins, amino acids, nucleic acids, sugars. These are macromolecules that can be converted into smaller substances that will turn into hormone in the bloodstream. Why? Because the definition of this is excreted to the blood, to that particular gland and released to the bloodstream. After releasing to the bloodstream, it will go properly to the right path, activating the vital organ. Ganon. So kung ma-failure ang imong hormone, wala tanan. Okay? That's why we take care also of our leveling here because affected last man siya ang hormone. So that's why our symptoms or our root cause will be fixing this nucleic acid, amino acid, lipids, fats, cholesterol, sugar because hormone is the last stage man talaga siya. Okay? Muna ang i-test sa doktor. Okay, you get the point. Kana mga ana, mga creatinine, sa dili na siya sa intermediate chemical reactions sa suluds. Okay, but kung inigato na to sa mga mga neurons, mga cells mo na ang hormone. So meaning to say, kung why ayo ang imong mga macromolecules at active level, you have a hormonal disease. Okay, hormonal disease problem. Okay, so this hormones really is related to diseases. If you have more to that, if you have less to that. So we take care the intake of our macromolecules, the carbohydrates, the sugars, the acids, the alcohols, the fluids, like that, okay? Everything, the fats, okay? The salts, and everything. Pwede naman ang chemical reactions sa intermediate. Okay? And then later naman ang hormones later. After that, mo develop siyang hormone dahil bato sa bloodstream. Ganon. O diba? 7 is adrenaline cortex. Number 8 is pancreas and kidney. Kidney is also here. And number 10 will be the testes for the man. And for the woman, we have the ovary and the uterus. Okay. Ganon. Okay. So there in 10-11 is more on the reproductive gland or gonad gland. Okay, like that. You get the point? Here, 8 na, 9, 10, 11. Ganon. So, if the question in the future will say, how many glands in our system? You will answer smartly, female or male? Like that. Just like, how many islands is the Philippines? You will say, low tide or high tide? Something like that. Because it's not the same. Okay? And then the question also, how many amino acids we have? You will say also, essential or non-essential? O, di ba? Mga gano'n chupa-chucho. Okay? And then the question will say, general. Answer. Specific, essential amino acid is not the same with the non-essential amino acid, which is very important in the production of protein. Okay? You got the point. Ganon. These are the parts. Okay. Now, going back to hormones. Okay? Naka sa mga hormones, chupa-chucho. Okay? Ganon. Di ba? Nakakaloka. Okay. Nakakauna ba ang tanan? Wow. Okay. So, in different sources that I have encountered so many doctors in my, I watch the YouTube, in the Google search, and also in the technical, thesis like that, presented, and also everything, okay, like that. So, they have different terminologies for the hormones. I will teach you. They will interchange this most of the times. Okay, the general term is hormone. Sometimes they will say, okay, nerve signal chemical. Okay. Sometimes they will say chemical messenger. Just like they will send a message, right? And then activate our brain cells and neurons, and then receives the electrical impulses and signals, and then it create communication. Okay, something like actions like that. So chemical messenger. Okay. Sometimes also we call this as neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters, it sounds very technical and I love it. Because the neuro speaks for the basic unit of our peripheral and central nervous system. It's highly technical, so you can understand, neuro, it's more on the nervous system. So it's very, very easy to detect. And transmitter, meaning it should be transmitted from one place to another place, or being moved from place to another place, being transported from place to another place. Dynamic, something like that, moving in motion, like that, from one place to place. That's transmitter or transmission. So, and who is responsible? It's the electrical signal. Electrical signal. Sometimes they call this an electrical impulses. Sometimes they call this also as an action potential. Sometimes they call also this as an electrical event. So, but the same meaning. Okay? Based on my research, we have different application of the terminology. Okay? You got the point? Ana siya. Okay, neurotransmitter. Tulura siya yung niya sa atong hormones. Okay, you get the point. And then, the definition of this is the driver of our behavior. The driver of our behavior, meaning the way we act, the way we perceive things, the way we respond to stimuli, the way we think. Okay, something like that. The way we move. It says there, what you eat defines you. What you eat defines you. For example, if I see a guy or a woman that is fat, we can easily say something through what he or she eats most of the times. Maybe she's eating a lot of carbohydrates through his shape. That's why it said there, what you eat defines you. Kung dako kag tiyan, you have a bulging stomach, meaning to say, this guy don't have an exercise. Generally, you will be judged like that because of the appearance and your physique, P-H-Y-S-I-Q-U-E, or body belt. Physique is the term there. Or fitness, F-I-T-N-E-S-S. Fitness, physique, body belt, appearance, figure, are just the same meaning. Okay? You get the point? Ganon. So what you eat defines you. Ganon. One ang hormone. So driver of our behavior. Apart from the technical, responsibilities. Okay? That it will really, send messages to the nerve cells, brain cells, and the neurons. And then it will use the electrical signal to pass the information to the different vital organs. Okay, to produce actions, energy, to think. Okay, to think, to acquire knowledge, and everything. What we do is influenced by the hormone. Okay, ganon. So ganon siya ang yakpan sa hormone. Nakakaloka. Okay? Ganon. And now let's go to the different hormones in each gland. Something like that. But we go to the general hormone that we most love all the time. Number one. Okay, like this. Serotonin hormone. Later I will be showing you also if I have time, I need to explain the chemical formula. Okay? Since I don't have time that much, serotonin like that, okay? I'm not a full vlogger. I'm working, right? I cannot really expound that much. Okay, serotonin hormone. What is the function of a serotonin hormone? In the D class, what is the function of a serotonin hormone? Okay, wala. So this will regulate and control your mood. For example, maglayon ka, like that, you don't like, you are irritating and get irritated most of the times, you'll be anger, every time you'll be upset, you'll be keep sad, like that. So, and then your mood is not, swing moods, you are not really consistent with your mood. For example, I love to eat sweet foods today. So your mood only, this serotonin hormone drives you. Okay, you get the point? This kind of hormone. So this kind of hormone leads you to addictive or addiction, something like that. You get the point? Because it will push your mood. Okay, you get the point? So I have the mood in going to Riyadh, and then you always go to Riyadh every day. See, things like that, and it's not good, right? So if you have a very high level of the serotonin hormone, problem also. Okay, because you should control your mood. Mood of anger, mood of jealousy, like that. Mood of hatred, something like that. Okay, and mood of insulting other people. So this is very important, the serotonin. If all the people have an adequate level of serotonin, then there will be no war. Always peace. Okay? Because it controls the mood. And after the mood, emotions and feelings will be there. And interaction. Okay, good the point. So serotonin is very important, right? Number 2. What else? We have the dopamine hormone. The dopamine hormone is regulating and controlling your appetite. Okay? In eating, something like that. For example, I eat now sweet food, and you keep also in eating sweet food, you are not considering your health, blah, blah, blah. So, something wrong with your dopamine is already very, very high. So, you need to control that. Okay? You got the point? Anak siya. Appetite siya, ha? Leads also to addiction in eating that food because that is appetite. Okay, but in eating or drinking something. If you are palahubog, then taas kitang level sa dopamine. And then if you are drug and alcohol abuse, it will become a mental illness. Okay, that is functional. Okay, functional destruction of your brain connection and brain network. Okay? Neurological disorder na siya. Drug and alcohol abuse. Okay? And it will create depression later. Okay? And bipolar behavior. Wow. Nakakaloka, di ba? So, dopamine mo na siya appetite, ha? Ganon. Okay. Number 3. You love this too much. I know this. Melatonin. I think this is the first hormone I studied when I was in high school. And after that, I don't explore now. Okay? This only melatonin. Okay? So melatonin regulates your or controls your sleep patterns, wake up cycle, and circadian rhythm. Your cycle in sleeping like that, okay? So, if you cannot sleep or sleeplessness, it will lead to insomnia, right? Leads to insomnia. Meaning to say, you have a very less melatonin level. Okay? Now, first control measure, off the light when you sleep. Because if you off the light, the level of melatonin will increase. Okay. Second, expose your body to the heat of the sun. Because the sun produces melatonin. Okay. Ganon. And then for the food, eat eggs every time. Fish, milk. Like that. Okay, for the food. And there are also supplements. Melatonin you can buy also in the pharmacy if you want really direct, if you have money. Then you can add melatonin directly without choosing the food, without adjusting to the sun, like blah, blah, so and so, right? Because there are people also will sleep in the light. You will not off the light, but problem this is electromagnetic radiation. It can cause, really, it can cause cancer. It's not the low frequency of or the wavelength of the low radiation that can cause you cancer, but it is the constant exposure. If you do that since child and then you are now 40, you are sleeping with fluorescent lights on, because all lights have low electromagnetic radiation. Okay, just like the cell phone screen. Okay? Regulates and control your immune functions as well. Okay? Mutabang po siya to prevent unwanted substances and antigens. As I discussed a while ago. Right? Wow, perfect kasi melatonin. Uy, I love it. And then also, mga palangga, good siya because this melatonin will help remove or scavenge. Scavenge, guys, meaning to stop, to eradicate, to destroy, to remove, to kill, to stop, to suppress. There's a lot of meaning in English vocabularies. It's up to you how to understand. Okay? To kill like that. To scavenge. You are a scavenger. If you try to scavenge, if you try to destroy, then you are a scavenger. If you try to destroy, you are a destroyer. Something like that. So, this melatonin is a scavenger of the free radicals. Meaning, he will or she will, anong gender ng melatonin? Hindi ko alam. Melatonin will really eliminate the free radicals. Okay. The outlet of the viruses, bacteria, and all antigens. Okay, like that. So if there's no outlet, there's no chance to stay. Okay, alangan man. Just like us, if we don't want to stay to a certain place, then problem. Okay, get the point. Saan na siya? Habitat first. We will kill the habitat. O diba? And then later the food. Get the point? The food. Kato mga mutagen, toxin, carcinogen, allergen, pathogen. Okay, these are unwanted substances. Carcinogen, cancer siya ha. Okay. Ganon. Okay, melatonin. Saan pa dun siya, guys? Aside from antioxidant, improve immune function, anti-aging. If you have a good level of melatonin, not very high, adequate, okay, then anti-aging. You look young, just like me. Charot! Charot lang. Nakakaloka, just like me. Okay? Level of melatonin. Okay? Taas kay level of melatonin kay bata ka siya tanawon. Meaning to say, okay ang yung level yung melatonin. Okay? Okay. Ganon. What else? Anti-aging and anti-skin disorder. Meaning, your skin will not be damaged directly or will not be, what do you call this one, irritated or don't have rashes like that. Things like that. Because anti-skin disorder means that siya ang melatonin. Grabe siya functions, guys, no? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be secreted and produced in our pineal gland. Okay, inside the cerebrum vortex. Like that. Okay, within the thalamus part of your brain. Our brain, by the way. Okay, ganon. Number 4, mga common na siya akong discuss ang una. Okay, get the point, mga palangga kong hitad. Okay, and we have the endorphin. Endorphin. What is endorphin all about? Endorphin, guys, this is a hormone for positivism. Okay, if you don't be irritated most of the times, if you don't want to fight to a certain arguments, you always calm, positive always. You will never fight for toxic people. You will never do reacting to toxic people. You are very relaxed. You don't mind. You don't react. So you just ignore them. Positive in life. Happy lang ka. So you have a you have a good adequate level of endorphin. Because this regulates and control your positive outlook in life. Okay? Imagine, mga ganun ng mga hormone, di ba? Nakakaloka. Okay? Being positive, being happy, gano'n. Muna siya ang endorphin hormone. Wow, social ang endorphin, di ba? Nakakaloka. Okay. Number 5. Mga common ang tagay sa GABA. What is GABA? Nakakaloka yung GABA. GABA means gamma aminobutyric acid. Sometimes also guys, there's an acid that will act as a hormone. But only few, not all. The name is an acid but act as a hormone. Just like a glutamic. Yep. Glutamic acid, wait. Yes. Okay? You get the point? Sometimes it will act as a hormone and sometimes it will act as a protein. Okay? Dual functions. Multiple tasking. Nakakaloka. Okay, GABA. GABA responsible for responsible din siya sa atong motor skills or the motor neurons. Okay? Ganon. Motor neurons ang GABA. Okay? What else? What else mga palangga? Ang makumuna dyan kayo guys. Okay. Number 6. Sa ko lang minumduman ha. Okay. Number 6 we have the kaya pa sa guys ha, nakalimut ko. Charot! Secretin. Wow, nakakalawang. Secretin. Wow. Secretin. Ano may function ng secretin? Uy. Kaloka. Secretin is a digestive hormone or intestinal hormone. This is released by the mucus, okay? When the gastric juice or gastric acids will go to the duodenum of your small intestine. Duodenum, okay, for production of gastric acids. Okay? Ganon. Muna siya ang secretin. Okay, so meaning to say, inhibit gastric acid secretion or production. Meaning to say, if it inhibits gastric acid production, then you will not develop hyperacidity. Okay, then you will not develop ulcer or gastric ulcer or peptic ulcer. Okay, this is the reason. Okay, so if you have a good level of secretin, then you don't have ulcer. Ulcer has to do something with the digestion. If you try to be hungry and you don't eat, then problem. Your secretin will suffer. Okay, and it will cause ulcer. It could be peptic ulcer, gastric ulcer, duodenum ulcer, and esophagus ulcer. 4 types of ulcer. But most ulcers we encounter are gastric or stomach ulcer. The common one we experience as a human being. Okay, like that. So secretin will function for that. Okay? Okay, see, diba? Mucus, right? Very important. Pura siya ka ng slippery fluid. That's mucus. I think belong in the salivary glands, something like that, okay? And then it will just react to the gastric acid when it performs inside our duodenum or small intestine. Duodenum meaning the lower part of your small intestine. Okay, duodenum. O diba? Muna siya secretin. Nakakaloka. Nasa ito yung somatostatin. Nagkalisod ba niya guys? Okay. Somatostatin. Wow. Somatostatin really is a byproduct of your secretin. But perform also the same thing, but the leveling is not very high. Okay? Compared to the secretin. Of course, because secretin will release this, and of course the secretin is more high, right? But the same function, inhibit the gastric juice secretion. Because if nobody will inhibit the gastric acid secretion, then ulcer will be there. Get the point? Oh, nakakaloka, di ba? And then, not only that, the outside environment, also the biological explanation. Okay, if you have also bacteria come in your body, okay, then this secretin will be destabilized. For example, if you keep on eating food also, and then later gigutom ka dahil na wala na yung pagkaon, ganun. And then, kung masundan ng bacteria, okay, this secretin will no longer inhibit the gastric juice. Now, this bacteria is called Bacterium Helicobacter pylori. No, listen guys, no? Ano siya? Bacterium Helicobacter pylori. O, diba? Or H. pylori. So this is the bacteria that will destroy your secretin. That's why you have the ulcer. Meaning there's another reason why you have the ulcer. Maybe there's a bacteria. Ang specific niya kato si Bacterium Helicobacter pylori. Diba? Social. Ano siya? Si somatostatin. What else? Kung gano'n, sige, go! Isa pa man, ang mga insulin, sa'yo lang ang insulin. Regulating and control the blood sugar, right? And then the pancreas will secrete that. Okay, the pancreas. Okay? Get the point, mga palangga akong hita. Insulin na siya. Okay. Glucagon is also a hormone. Glucagon. Glucagon is regulating and control the releasing of the glucose, okay, that our body needs, okay, from the storage house which called glycogen. Glycogen is a store or a warehouse that full of glucoses inside, and each time this glucose will be released to different vital organs that needs it, the glucagon will signal, okay, properly to the vital organ how much you need. Just like ordering withdrawal of the PPE in the warehouse, so the glucagon is also like that. He will withdraw glucose from the glycogen, things like that. Analogy, okay? And then say liver will need 2 milligrams per liter, and then he will communicate to the glucagon, and then the glucagon will also get glucose from the glycogen, and then he will send a message back to liver. Oh, here it is. This is what you need. Ganon. Not only to liver, but to respiratory, central nervous, excretory. So that's the role of glucagon hormone for the glucosis. Katong 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen, and 6 atoms of oxygen. Ganon. What else? Okay. We have immunoglobulin. But sometimes, guys, immunoglobulin can act as a protein, and sometimes also can act as a hormone. But I will just explain the immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin meaning coming from the immune system. That's why immuno. Okay. Globulin meaning in globules shape. Globule shape, like a circle, like that, a lumps of granules, something like that. It's an appearance thing, okay? The globule, like that. So that's why immunoglobulin. Ganon. Okay, so these are the critical part of your immune response. Okay? Mo response siya sa immuno, okay? Sa atong immune system, okay? To recognize and bind with the antigens, the bacteria, the viruses, or whatever, in order it will aid the destruction of them, and they will die. So that's the role of immunoglobulin. Is very, very important. Okay? And the example for this is the antibodies. Okay? That's why we need to add this in the vaccine. Something like that. Okay? For the you get the point. That is example antibodies, and the general term is immunoglobulin. Ganon. And then the antibodies is not only to kill the antigens, but Special function also, additionally, is to eliminate the unwanted substances, as I mentioned a while ago. The carcinogens that can cause cancer, okay, the mutagens that can cause diseases in our DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid and our ribonucleic acid are in the genes, like that. That is mutagens, okay. And then for the allergens also, it will destroy our skin surfaces, our epidermis. The outer layer is called epidermis. Okay. Now also our pathogens. Any substance causing diseases, that's pathogens. That's why you have study of pathology, concentration and focus on the diseases, substances that will cause diseases, like pathogens. And then the last will be the toxins, substances that will create poison when it will interact to the host. Okay, host is the human being. That's the term for medical term, host. Okay, so that is poison. Okay, for example, okay, if we have a wound, a cut wound, and then we don't care for that. So time will come, there's a lot of substance will be there, it can be iron or whatever. Okay, you get the point, so it will develop tetanus because the Clostridium tetani bacteria will go there and will create the poison. And that poison will become a toxin. Okay? You get the point? And then your muscles will be contracted and you'll feel pain. Okay? Like that. And then inflammation, like that later. And then things like that. Okay? You get the point? And then bleeding or whatever. Chupa-chucho. Okay? So, mula siya may tabo. Okay? So, importante kayo ang immunoglobulin. O, diba? Okay, what else? Sa mga hormones, chuba-chucho. So, kuan na siya, immune na sa kuan, adrenaline hormones. Okay, adrenaline katulad gini siya mag-regulate. Ako na discuss, di ba? Sa imong kuan heartbeat, sa imong mga excitement, how willing you are, how interested you are, too hot, too aggressive, too slow, meaning more on the responses like that, and you always feel afraid, and your heartbeat is very fast. You have a higher adrenaline, something like that. Parang hot kay ka ba? Okay? Di ka magpapugong, di ka siya makadaog sa mga argumentation. Grabe yung adrenaline hormone. Okay? Di ka magpalupig, as in, ikaw dyan ang bida. Like that. So you have a higher adrenaline hormone. Okay? Because kaya magsabraan na siya, it will cause stress. That's why this adrenaline hormone is an example of stress hormone. Okay? Cortisol, so yun may mga cortisol. This is akong cortisol hormone, right? Okay. So, any questions so far? Ano siya mga common ng mga hormones? So, we have also the hormones secreted in each gland.